Okay. I'm about to have a good day. No matter what they say. The sun is shining down on me. Birds are singing praise. I'm about to have a good day. In every single way. The God who made the universe knows me by my name, so it's a good day.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. We're standing out here in front of one of our latest flips that we just wrapped up, actually under contract as we speak right now. Brian, tell us what we got.
All right, so this was a big one. There was a big haul here. So as you know, we had several setbacks along the way, but the final product came out really nice. So we'll put up some B-roll of what it looked like before when it was demoed. But if you remember, we had that big fireplace here. There was a wall, and the kitchen was kind of like a little U-shape there. We opened all that up. We took the fireplace out. Got this big, giant kitchen in here. We also did a couple of cool things over here. What was over here, Chase? Do you remember? There was maybe some...
So it was a big pantry. So yeah, the pantry and the washer and dryer. So this was just complete open space
Right.
here.
Yep.
Washer and dryer was on that side. This was kind of like a secondary pantry, cleaning closet, something like that. And then you had a full bath here, which we
Right.
decided to kind of downgrade it, if you will, but we didn't think you needed a full bath right here on the side entrance. So we downgraded it to a half bath and then gave you a nice pantry.
Yeah, this came out good. So we took away the shower, which you don't really need, by the back door, and threw in a little pantry, and put the glass door in here just as a little upgrade in the other doors. So and then we left the washer dryer there. We didn't put one in, but the hookups are all there. So
Super cool.
that's it. Coming through here, this is a cool little change up we did. This used to just be like a screen porch. There was a door here, sliding door, and this was technically not a real space because it was just screens. There was no insulation, there was no HVAC. So we enclosed it, insulated it, threw a duct in here when we put the new system in, outlets, and now this is a big living space. It could be a dining room, it could be a hangout room, watch the kids in the pool or whatever. But this was a cool addition. It got us a couple hundred extra square feet.
I think the cool part is this addition, I was kind of hesitant on it when you first were like, hey, let's make this a fully operational like living space. And I was like, Ryan, like how is that gonna flow? But the cool part is as soon as you walk in, most of the time people, the first thing they say is like, wow, look at this space and how it turned out, because you're getting so much natural light. It reflects off this beautiful white tile. And it's just really cool to look out into your backyard, see your pool, and like you feel like you're included in the house still.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good call.
Yeah, when you're already doing all that work, it was silly to not make it, a legit space.
Especially on this style of house, the clientele that you're going after. That's one thing I think investors miss a lot of times is like the layouts of houses.
Yeah.
A lot of times they just try to keep it the same, and I get it. Sometimes you have to do a little cosmetics, but with something like this, we want to make sure the layout made sense.
Yeah, so what we did here was the wall used to end somewhere probably over here, but we needed to get another bathroom in this house, in the master bedroom. It didn't have a master bedroom, which at this price point in the upper 700s, 800,000, you really need a master suite or primary suite, whatever you want to call it, with a bathroom. So we stole some space from one of these bedrooms and then blew this bedroom wall out to make it a normal size bedroom. So we have our one bedroom here, and then we have our one full common bath here. This was the only full bath that was up here before. So that kind of just stayed the same, just got a remodel. But then the additional bath is in here. Not a big one, but it checks the box. And I think that's what people sometimes don't get. Like, it's not every house is gonna have this giant master suite, but as long as it checks the box, that's what we need.
You need a bathroom in your master. Most people don't want to share a bathroom with their kids or whatnot, so just having that there is nice. And then we got two closets. Originally there was a closet here and in the corner, we opted to flip the closets. So turned this closet that was here that way and flipped that one to this closet, and then we added an additional walk-in there.
The reason I did that was to free up the center of the room, because somebody might want to put a TV up here on this wall, or something that could be centered, where this was kind of making it a weird space. So you'd have to put kind of a TV or something in the corner. So we just flip-flop that. That was an easy change up. Just thinking functionally too, when you're doing these things, somebody's got to buy this house. Somebody's got to love it. They're going to spend $775,000 is what we're under contract for. They want to have well thought out footprint, floor plan, whatever you want to call it, and have people that care about it and do it the right way.
I think the thing that investors miss too is bring buyers through during the pre-phase, the pre-sale phase, like when you're still drywalling and doing everything, so that way they can give you the tidbits, because I think that's what this was. This was a pre-buyer that walked the property and said, hey, where are we going to put a TV? And then ding, 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 let's flip that. And that was a great call. So pretty cool there. I want to take a second. These hardwoods turned out so good. Yeah,
these are original hardwoods. I believe the house is 1940s or something like that, 1950s maybe. I'd have to look, but yeah, some of them are new. We had to tooth in new hardwoods in the kitchen, but everything from kind of here, the bedrooms, everything is all original hardwoods, so they came out really nice. And you save a lot of money doing that rather than putting all new floors in.
Yeah, I was kind of curious and speculating on how you were going to be able to tooth those in, as you call it. I've never seen it done before, but it turned out real good.
Yep. All right, so the basement, this house, when you look at it from the outside, it doesn't look big. And then you get in it and you start walking around and everybody says it's a big house. This basement is massive. And I don't even know what I would do with all this space when I was, laying out got a hangout space over here. I mean, you can have a pool table probably over there. We do a classic little dry bar here. Again, we put this probably in another video, but these things are not expensive to do. It's 2 cabinets and a cheap fridge. I think the fridge is probably 250 bucks maybe. A piece of quartz, some tile, and a shelf. And this goes a long way. A lot of flippers are not doing anything extra, right? This is a little bit extra money. And when somebody comes down here, they're like, I can,
Yeah, and our guys are already here. Your cabinet people are already here. They're already delivering that. The countertops are already coming anyways, so.
Yep. So that's always a good thing to just throw in there. It doesn't cost much and it's a nice upgrade.
Yeah, so I mean, dude, this thing had, 6 bedrooms down here?
Yeah.
Alone?
There were 6 bedrooms. There was one framed up in the front when you first walked in, 2, 3, and then 4, maybe 5. So there's 5 bedrooms down here. We knocked everything out.
Yep.
And we left 2 bedrooms in the back. Well, we can't really call them bedrooms. They're technically underground with the only egress is out here. But they're rooms, they have closets, they could be offices, club space, whatever. Out here is just this big open space. I don't know, I would imagine a couch and pool table and whatever else down here. But this thing was so chopped up before and you couldn't really feel how big it was. And then you start knocking some walls down and you realize you got a lot of space.
The other things that we did too, the fireplace, the chimney ran right here in the middle, dead center. So we started to open up walls and I called Ryan, I'm like, yo, we got a problem. There's center block here. What are we gonna do? And he's like, oh, don't worry, it's the chimney.
Yeah, so the chimney was this obviously really big and heavy cinder block that was sitting here on the floor, and we had to demo the whole thing through the whole chimney, and that's just what happened. It was definitely a surprise on how much demo we had to do here, just in general. And in the beginning, I don't think we even accounted for knocking down the whole chimney. We didn't really have a plan at first.
Yeah.
So that was, definitely a fun couple days. The other, I guess we could talk about some of the things that didn't go so well. Well, maybe not go so well, but things happen in flips. We had one day where we found out the pool was going to be, I think, $14,000 or $15,000 to repair, where we were budgeting maybe 5 to 10.
Yeah.
So that was a surprise. And then we knew that there was a septic permit pulled back in 2017, so we just assumed that there's a new septic. Turns out there was a new septic, but the way they installed it was wrong. So the stuff was running uphill. It wouldn't, they needed a transfer pump essentially. That was like $9,000. So in one day, I think we spent like $24,000 just in like changes. So that was tough.
Yeah.
And then the demo, when we bought the house, we didn't even really know about that whole other building.
Yeah, that was a heavy hitter.
We didn't know how much stuff was in here, truly. We had, I think we're up to 16 dumpsters, some of them being 40-yard dumpsters. That was a huge haul. It was a lot of stuff. The whole garage that we'll go out to and see was filled to the brim. The loft was filled. Everything to the brim was filled. So yeah, 16 dumpsters later, I think we went over budget on demo by probably $20,000.
I think that's just what happens when you buy sight unseen. There's times when you really want a house because of the location. This was one of them. And you just pull the trigger on it. You get there and you're like, holy crap, what did I get myself into? And that was one of them. This was one of these houses that they had 60 years worth. It was like 3 generations worth of stuff. They had 6 kids living down here and up there. It was crazy. And the wholesalers, whoever sold this to us, didn't show us the pictures of the back, which threw us for a complete loop because that was an 80-yard barn just full of metal junk. It wasn't even like
80 yards. That's like a
80
football
foot,
field.
yeah, right.
And it was built on a concrete slab, and we had to jack up the concrete. There was buckets of oil in there. That was a whole mess. So they left us with a mess there, but the numbers came out pretty good, right?
Yeah, still solid margins. I think we underestimated the price we were going to get on this side, just being a little more conservative, but turned out for the better anyways. I'd much rather price conservative on the ARV and end up going higher than vice versa.
So we originally priced it based on some of the appraisals that came back from our original lenders that were at like $725.
Yeah.
And then we decided, basically because we spent a little bit extra money than we thought, let's try to raise the price a little bit. We went coming soon at $775 and didn't even make it to market.
Yep.
We are under contract now for $775, so $50,000 more than we originally thought we were gonna get. And it kind of washed out because we spent $50,000 almost more than we thought we were gonna spend. So that's a big variable too, and I think people, when you're flipping houses, you gotta be careful of that and make sure you have the money to cover. Like that extra $50,000, $60,000 didn't come from hard money. We had to front that money to get to the finish line. And that's where a lot of flippers get in trouble. And they get to that last piece and they can't get to the finish line and they gotta pull out a big check and they don't have it because the lender already gave them all their draws. So that is something to keep in mind when you're flipping these houses. So the money goes quick.
Yeah.
Numbers always have 5 digits when you're fixing things. So I guess the other thing we could talk about is the stuff that we did outside. We want to come out
we could go out that way, actually.
Basement door here. So the pool, we were back and forth between, do we keep it? Do we fill it in and just get rid of it? And we decided to keep it. We fixed it up as best as we could. There's going to be some more probably upgrades that they will need to do later, but
this area still turned out way better than I probably could have imagined, to be honest.
Yeah.
With our budget in mind, because the budget that we originally had did not cover what we just did.
Right. So this pool was a block of ice when we got it. We had no idea if anything worked. It was literally, we had 4 of us standing on here, I think 3 or 4 of us standing on the ice. That's how thick it was. So we finally got it defrosted and had the guy come out and he was like, yeah, it's in pretty bad shape. All the underground plumbing was no good. We had to jackhammer some of this concrete and now the pump is bad. So we have all sorts of fun stories about the pool, but it came out really nice and I think I'm happy that we kept it rather than getting rid of it and infilling it.
Yeah, we talked about it many times. Like at this price point, if you're an investor, if you have a nice pool this size, a lot of times it's worth keeping it and doing it because that's going to be an added value to a family that's going to live here because they're going to have kids. They're going to want a pool in the backyard. If you fill this in, you don't lose value, but it's that just added benefit of having it. They are blessings and curses.
Yeah, they are blessings and curses. And I also think that when I think about a pool, to put in a new one, I know is like about $100,000. So if somebody was thinking about putting in a pool at some point, this is like, and there are some people that wouldn't want to buy a house with a pool. You know, we do
Right.
eliminate those, but I do feel like somebody spent probably at the time maybe $50,000 when it got installed a while ago. They spent a lot of money to put it here. Just, you know, it was going to cost us money to infill it. We might as well just fix it.
Yeah.
So that's what we did, and now we have a working swimming pool.
Yeah.
That was definitely something that wasn't originally on our radar as much as I thought. You know, maybe clean it out, turn it on, and it was going to work, but wasn't the case.
Yeah, not with pools. But
Nope.
something else that I really like is this black mulch that we did. A lot of times investors ignore the exterior of houses, and this is the first thing you see when you come into a house as a buyer, as an agent.
Speaking of that, we got weeds that we got to clean up here.
Yeah, we do need to clean up some weeds here, but nonetheless, like that's the first impression. So if you can make a good first impression, you're gonna kill it with the buyers. As soon as they step in, they're gonna be like, wow, these people really did it right. So taking
Yep.
some time and spending a little extra money. Mulch doesn't cost that much, right, Ryan?
No, but funny story about the mulch, like this wasn't originally in the plan, but when I ordered the mulch, I didn't realize how much I'd ordered. So I was supposed to order 7.5 yards and I accidentally ordered 15 yards. So I had a lot of extra mulch. So we put it all over the place to kind of make some of the flower beds that were originally here a little bit nicer. But that was a little bit of a
Whoopsie.
misorder, yeah. So the last thing, which I'm actually really stoked about, is the way the garage came out. So this is a cool addition to this kind of house where, you know, you don't really have a lot of storage downstairs because the basement's kind of all finished space.
Mm-hmm.
Here, this was an old barn and it had a loft that you had to get through only from the outside. So we decided we changed the door, it's up right now, but we put a new door on. Decided to put these stairs up to the loft. You have a space for your car, and then you have a whole area in the back that could be, you know, a workshop or gym, whatever.
Right.
We threw some electric in here, some lights and, you know, random stuff, but for the most part, we didn't spend all that much money. We put some new windows in and a door, and it's a cool space. It's a little bit of a mess right now, but we got the loft upstairs for, you know, storage, and this is
The loft is probably my favorite part of this
Yeah.
whole thing.
I said that's where I would make my man cave, up there.
Yeah.
We're gonna take a gander up there.
Oh, we got lights up there too.
Oh yeah, threw a light up there. It's a little messy up here, but put a little mini split AC in here. Put a little bed in here, this is where I was sleeping.
Yeah, right. When you're in the doghouse.
But yeah, so glad this one is wrapped up and under contract, because it was a big push financially and with all my crews. So
Right.
this was a big one.
Well, and everybody, you know, likes to talk about their wins, but we're sitting on a loss right now that hasn't sold yet, and this one has sold, and it'll close before one of our other flips that's been on the market for a little bit now. So
Yeah.
it does happen. You do lose, you do win. It's part of the game.
Yep.
We talk about it a lot, but you just got to win more than you lose.
Yeah.
So.
That's it.
But that is gonna be it for this edition. Oh, one last thing, the driveway will be done soon, but the buyer wanted to extend the driveway. So that's a cool part about it not being done. They wanted to be able to make a change here and extend the driveway out. You can see the white lines here.
Yep.
So they're gonna pay for the driveway to be extended as well.
Yep. All right, guys, so final numbers on this one. We bought it for $430. We put $180,000 into the rehab. We had closing costs, financing costs, and all that. So we're all in it for, I think, $695 total.
Right.
That's everything soup to nuts. So at $775 on the back end, we made $80,000 on this one.
Sweet. I mean, the only thing left to do, man, is show me the money. So
Yeah.
let's get to the closing table. Guys, this is gonna wrap up this flip that we just did. If you wanna see more projects, subscribe to our YouTube channel, comment below, and let us know what you thought about this project in particular. And if you guys have any projects that you wanna see us do, throw them in the comments.
Yeah, trendsetter, whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center, hit it dead center. Bullseye, hit it the most, there's no misses. Something like fish in a barrel, it's no different. Blindfold on me, I still got the most vision. Trendsetter told them before, but they don't listen. Better, bring a better bad because I'm bigger, better. Solo, single, selling several shows at every single second. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.